Welcome back in, everybody. It is a pleasure to have all of you on board on Pro Football Plus. It is a privilege to have you in the building. We've got Shane coming to us from way, way north of the United States. We've got Yusef, my not too far away neighbor, who I still haven't met in person yet, but we've met a lot online. I know, man. We're sharing the same weather. Basically, all three of us now we're sharing the same weather. But we are loaded tonight. We're going to concentrate on the AFC West. We're going to touch on the Chiefs. We're going to touch on the Raiders. We'll touch on all four teams. And then we're going to hit some MLB, some WNBA, and who knows what else these guys have cooking in their final 60 seconds of the show. So you don't want to miss that as well. Let's get started right to it. The AFC West tonight, we're going to pick the records for each of the four teams. And Shane, let's get it started with you, man.
Okay, I'm gonna go worst to first. I went with the Denver Broncos coming in last. I think they're gonna be. At first, I said 2-15. I thought it was gonna go real terrible for them, but I think they're looking more, um, possibility to catch four victories out of this. I don't think it's gonna go well. I don't think the team's set up well around anybody. I think the quarterback will help them, but it's not real positive on their end. For the Raiders, I went 5-12. I think they'll be competitive. I like Antonio Pierce, but I think they need a quarterback to be able to really power that team to be able to make another leap. I think the Chargers come back to at least being a decent football team in the West, so I put them at 9-8. Being conservative, I love Harbaugh, so I would love for it to be better than that, but I don't see it happening. And then I think the Chiefs are easily the best team in the AFC West. I put them at 14-3. They don't have a ton of weaknesses this year. And until Mahomes is no longer the quarterback there and Andy Reid isn't there, I'm gonna pick them to win the West, you know, until this ends.
I hear you. Yusef, where you sitting on the floor, man?
All right, I go the same way Shane went. Broncos last. I looked up and down the roster. It might not even beat the Saints, man. It's like I'm not supremely confident. So I got them at 4-13. I got the Raiders at 5-12. Honestly, with all the optimism about Aiden McConnell that we're hearing about, I'm still not buying it. That roster is not strong. Aside from Brock Bowers coming in and Devontae Adams, it's not a strong roster. And then you got Minshew Mania. It's like I'm not feeling it. So I'm at 5-12. I got the Chargers at 9-8. Had to calm down all my enthusiasm because my coach is out there now. So that's my second favorite NFL team. So I had to make sure I was careful about my prediction, but I think they can go 9-8 based on who they're playing. I got the Chiefs at 12-5. Now, that's the same record they had last year or somewhere close to that. I think they're going to win the West outright, but I don't I don't have confidence in how they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to blow people out because they always have so many holes and they seem to struggle early on. And then in the playoffs, they grind it out, and all the things that were weaknesses that we thought they covered it up well, and they just go out there and win. So I'm at 12-5 to win the division.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much to talk about here, at least heading the end of the season. This is one of the probably the easiest division we've done so far. So I'm right there with what you guys are putting down. I've got the Broncos at 5-12. And that really is not because I believe in the Broncos. It's just because most years in the NFL, we kind of see these bad teams figure out ways to win a handful of games, right? So I'm not confident that they're any higher than that. That's probably their top end right there, 5-12. I've got the Raiders at 7-10. I kind of hate to do that to the Raiders because I like Antonio Pierce too, and the energy that people have for Pierce in the building and around the country is heavy. But then you go back and you look at the roster and you're like, man, there's not a lot to work there with in some areas. So I've got the Raiders at 7-10. I've got the Chargers at 10-7. I figure they got a good chance to get in the playoffs, but again, they're going to need another year to get to where they really want to be. And then I put the Chiefs at 12-5. They could easily pick up a 13th win or something like that. But like you already mentioned, Kansas City, they're the best until somebody does some work and catches up to them, and that may be a while. So we'll see if Harbaugh and Herbert can get it done maybe next year. So that's where we're at. Moving on, we won't stay on that one long. If you're the GM of the Chiefs, GM view, what position or group are you most hoping the coaches can scheme or cover for? Shane, GM of the Chiefs.
So I hopefully Brett Leach is listening, but is what we went with is the O line, specifically the tackles. I think a lot of people would agree that the Chiefs probably have one of the better interior lines with Creed Humphrey, Thuney, and Smith. The tackles they did, reach out in the draft. They're trying to make it happen, but I would have thought that they would have spent some money on the tackles. If that's the quarterback that I have, yes, Pat Mahomes can keep that up, but how many times do you want him to take hits when he doesn't need to? When you look at their running game, they run through the middle. Creed Humphrey probably now will become known as the best center in the league with Kelsey retiring. And I think it's a shame. The kid from BYU could be outstanding, and then you're playing it safe and you have somebody to protect. But if not, I worry about the tackles if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, Yusef, I'll come back to tackle here, but Yusef, what position are you picking out here?
All right. I think we need to be looking at the corners. They're kind of relying on Joshua Wilson, who I think he's like second year guy, only had 6 starts in 2 years, and he's not even a starter on this team, at least depth chart wise right now. So you got him and several improving guys that are kind of rely on holding up in a pass heavy division in the conference, and hoping that McDuffie's going to step up. I think people are assuming a lot about that. It's not a foregone conclusion. He has to do that. So right now, there's no proven CB1 out there right now. I mean, they weren't great against the run last year either, and the tackling by the secondary wasn't great in a lot of spots either. I mean, they probably can try to get Stephon Gilmore, Xavier Howard in free agency to kind of help bring some veteran leadership out there, but I think it's a problem, and it's one of those problems that I felt real close last year. They could have got because of the corners, but I'm surprised that they escaped. To be honest with you, it was like I was in awe, like, oh wow, they're so great. I'm like, wow, y'all got out by the skin of your teeth in some games. So it's still a problem, and they haven't seemed to really resolve it. So I'm kind of watching that. Justin Reed is good as a safety, but he's not elite. So they got a lot of issues in that secondary. But I think the cornerback is a big issue.
Y'all literally took both positions that I had written down.
Oh.
And again, I listen for Chiefs fans. We have quite a few on this channel. We're not trying to make a run at your team, but if we're an opposing coordinator, man, and we're looking for weaknesses, because everybody is, these are the two positions we're going to come after. Okay. And listen, ever since Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher departed the Kansas City Chiefs 3 or 4 seasons ago, tackle has been a problem area. There's no doubt about it. And especially 2 or 3 years ago, it brutally broke down the Chiefs offense. Now they found ways the past 2 years to just scheme through that. And the secondary, they've done a remarkable job over the years. I mean, going back 6, 7 years of dropping off good secondary players and still being able to put together decent defenses. And last year was a very good defense. But again, if we're probing for weaknesses, you lost L'Jarius Sneed, who was a tremendous playmaker. He was good in coverage, and his ability to come up in the run and actually catch fast people out there in the flats was tremendous. So that's not easily replaceable. The Chiefs will do it. We all picked them to win the division, so don't hate us. But if we're looking for weaknesses that good teams can exploit, it's going to be on those tackles, and it's going to be on the secondary. And as a GM, and of course Brett Veach does listen to this show. We know he does. He will even make an appearance sometime. But as a GM, I'm hoping that Andy Reid can do his usual trickery with his coordinators and cover these 2 spots, because they are not strengths of the team, at least at this moment, until further development from somebody. So, all right, totally agree with you there. Number 3 tonight, NFL attack mode. Using the Raiders defense. I really like the Raiders. I just wanted to use them, even though I don't expect them to have a huge year. Using the Raiders defense, let's attack either the Texans, the Bills, or the Bengals offense. So those are just random offenses. They're not necessarily the best, but 3 pretty good ones. So Texans, Bills, or Bengals offense. How would you attack it using the Raiders defense? Shane.
Well, you can tell I'm stuck on the offensive line this week because I said, let's attack the Bengals offense. And that's because they don't have a tackle to speak of. And if I have Max Crosby and Christian Wilkinson ready to go, that's what I'm worried about. Max Crosby is one of those guys that goes 100% every single snap. Sometimes it hurts him because he just runs out of energy because he's the only one flying around for the Raiders at some points. But he's proven time and time again that he'll get after the quarterback. And the Bengals have shown that, if you can keep Joe Burrow up, he's going to make plays. He's a great quarterback, but he takes an awful lot of hits. And this has been the problem with the offensive line for years now. Again, it's one of those ones where your tackle left and you never filled that spot. Like, you need to think as your offensive tackles as a premier position. And when you don't, that's how you lose that premier quarterback. You pay him an awful lot of money. If you don't pay somebody else to protect him, it's going to be trouble. And that's why if I'm the Bengals, I watch out because I think a lot of teams are going to stack and just come flying at him. And Max Crosby is one of the best at that.
Max Crosby is a killer. His energy level is insane. His attack mode level is insane. Youssef, Raiders defense, which offense you going after, man?
I'm going after the Bills. This is a tough one. I spent a lot of time on this one because it can go so many different ways. I mean, and what I'm going to say is going to sound like somebody different than the guy that predicted their record for the season. But they got a strong front three in Wilkins from the Dolphins, John Jenkins, who I've had an eye on for a while, and Max Crosby. They're nightmares for any offense if you just think about it. But in this case, you got to attack the least talented of the three. That's why I picked the Bills offense. They don't have a bona fide number one. They're relying on the rookie Keon Coleman to come inside there and keep them competitive. And that's a tough ask for a rookie. And you got Curtis Samuel, who's not exactly a wide receiver one, to be there on the other side to help him. So it's like they're kind of short on elite talent, if you will. And the run game wasn't potent either. And that's something that the Raiders do well against historically, at least the past couple of years at least. I'm so shocked that Pittsburgh got rid of Robert Spillane. I love him, man. He's on the Raiders right now, and he's doing fantastic out there. The Raiders have a 9th-ranked scoring defense. They tackle well. They swarm to the ball. They create fumbles. They got an excellent pass rush. I mean, you got Josh Allen out here trying to find somebody to throw the ball to because before he can throw the Diggs and Davis, he knew he could go. His first 2 reads were already covered. Now they looking at a rookie who is learning how to run routes and Curtis Samuel. So he's going to be out there scrambling. So the pass rush should be very, very effective against him this time. So because he's struggling to find some kind of reliable targets. So we're going to attack the Bills offense today.
It will be interesting to see what the Bills come up with on offense because you still have Allen and you still have a coaching staff that won before Allen ever got there. But there's a lot of moving parts there. We'll see what kind of offense they come up with. I'm going to go after the Texans offense. Listen, the Raiders defense is so fascinating to me. I picked them before last season to have one of the 5 worst defenses in football. And when I watched them last year, I loved it. They were fantastic. I mean, hats off to Antonio Pierce and defensive coordinator Patrick Graham for putting together an aggressive defense that built off of Crosby, but did a lot of other things well. When you look at their personnel, even again this year, I don't see how they're going to have a great defense or even a good defense. The personnel really is weak, to be honest. But they built off of Crosby. They added Christian Wilkins. They got a couple of other guys that are decent on defense. So I'm kind of sort of expecting the same thing. And Youssef, you mentioned it, number 9 rated scoring defense. There is no way that roster should have had that good of a defense. But Patrick Graham, Antonio Pierce got it out of them. So hats off to them for a tremendous coaching job last year, especially in the second half of the season. Really loved it. So I'm going to go after the Texans offense. They're not weak. They're pretty good. In case anybody noticed last year, they are loaded, but I want to try to figure out how to stop them. And basically what I'm going to do to Stroud is I'm going to see if he is at all interested, him and his coordinator, in doing what Brady and Patriots got so good at doing over the years, and that was being willing to check down and hand the ball off if that's what was there. And Brady, of course, could beat you deep, and Stroud can beat you anywhere on the field, but I would love to get the ball out of Stroud's hands. So Crosby's still coming, and we're going to mix blitz a lot just to confuse. But I'm going to drop guys back, and I'm going to dare Houston to run the football. And I'm going to see if C.J. Stroud is willing to take the underneath stuff and then force me to kind of come up on defense. But there's no way I'm going to have 5 guys in coverage and let Stroud pick me apart. He's way too good. So I'm going to bring pressure on him with Crosby and Wilkins and whoever else I want to blitz occasionally with. Everybody else, I'm going to drop back into coverage. I'm not going to make anything easy on Stroud back there anywhere. He's going to have to do a lot of handoffs, check downs, throws to the flat, screens, everything. And then we'll see if he can beat me deep if I have to suck the defense in. But that's what I'm going to do there if I'm working against the Houston Texans. And we'll see about the Raiders defense this year, if it can do the same thing or not. New segment this week. I'm interested to see where you guys go with this. So let me tell the audience real quick what we're doing here. Y'all know that we do a lot of fake betting on this show for the contest that we like to have. So this week, we're doing a new segment called Stock Investment. Basically, you get to take whatever points you got that you want to invest in one team. This week, we can only pick from Major League Baseball teams, and we can only pick from teams that are playing their weekend series. So basically, it works like this. If you think the Dodgers are going to have a great weekend series against whoever they're playing, I don't remember who that is at the moment, then you can take maybe 100, 200, 300 of your dollars, whatever. Say, I'm going to invest that in the Dodgers. If they win 75% of their games this weekend, then the guys get their money back plus 75% more than what they put in the first place. Flip side, if they only win 33% of the games, say they go 1-2 on the series, they only get 33% of their original money back. So there's quite a swing there. We'll see how this works over the next few weeks. Shane, you're up first. Which MLB team you're picking if you're investing at all?
I am investing, and last go round I was lucky enough to win, on the bet side, and I decided we might as well light the fire this go round. So I'm picking the Pirates. They get Miami. I think Paul Skeens is gonna get the start on Thursday, so he might not be in that weekend one. But I'm gonna go $500. I'm gonna clear the well. So if I get that 75%, or maybe they pull out a full sweep of Miami, then big money.
I like it. I love it, Shane. All right.
This guy's unbelievable, man.
Pedal to the metal. All right, yourself.
Wow.
What you doing here?
Yeah. I should have picked a team that wasn't good. They're playing another team that wasn't good. I didn't even think like that. It's all good, though. I went with the team that I've been watching that I know. That's my Yankees. I'm going to go ahead and throw 150 on there, boys. But what I'm hoping is that they go in and save face, because they have it's not a split. They have a 3-game series with the Red Sox, which is the one I'm kind of focusing on mainly. The other half of the weekend is against the Phillies, who they're almost neck and neck with records-wise. I think that we have 2 more losses than the Phillies do. Man, we've been scuffling, just not on a base path where we needed to be scuffling at. So we have some struggles there, man, but I believe in these guys to pick it up. We got some hitters that are struggling, but we got some guys coming in that are new, that are finding their way. Maybe they can kind of buoy the team for a while and give Stanton time to get well. So I'm going 150 on the Yankees to beat the Red Sox and put them boys down in their hometown, in Beantown.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Red Sox better than everybody thought this year. So, yeah. All right. 150 on the Yankees, 500 on the Pirates. Man, you guys are putting it on. I'm only dropping 100 here, so I may get my doors blown off this weekend. But I've got $100 on the Phillies. They are starting. Good team, the Phillies are, of course. They're starting a 4-game series on Thursday against the Marlins. So I have that right. I think that's right. I'll double check that. But anyway, they're doing a 4-game series. So I'm dropping $100 on the Phillies, and I'm betting on a good team as well. So see how they do. That's our stock investment segment, and we'll see how that works and see who goes bust on that. Those are some big bets right there.
I might as well go for it, man. Look where I'm at. I might as well give you the whole bang, everything.
Yeah, I mean, Ben's lapping the rest of the field right now, and he's only betting $100. This is crazy. Come on.
Yeah. Well, listen, you know how that works. If y'all catch up to me, then I got to start getting aggressive too. So, all right. 10-5-1. This week we're doing WNBA. Thursday, June 27th. The Aces at the Sky. It'll be on Prime. Who are you picking and how much, Shane?
I went Aces and 10. I mean, Sky has been playing back and forth. I don't really see they'll play great against one team, but not play great for the rest of them. I think the Aces just are a more solid all around team, and if they're the ones I'm going to go, I always go 10. So
Yeah, I totally agree. We'll see what Yusef says. Yusef?
Yeah, I'm going 10 too. With the Aces. I know they're going to be on the road, but despite the game that we saw, well, the game that I watched the other day, which was a fantastic, I watched the entire game. I got to see what they're putting out there, and I was very impressed. At the same time, I don't think the Sky can hang with the Aces. They did that with the Fever because the Fever gave them a lot of room to come back. They were up by like 15, and it was probably 4 or 5 players that we'd love to get back that would have made that lead even larger. So Scott, I mean, Reach played her butt off, and I give her credit for that. But against the Aces and Asia Wilson, that's not happening. So I'm going 10 with the Aces on the road.
The audience may or may not remember, but I think both of y'all bet on the Sky last week, right? And that's a bad beat for a game of the week, right? I know Yusef did anyway.
Numbers behind me, the numbers behind you don't reflect that. I don't see any increase. I think I probably will defeat it probably. So
actually, I apologize. No, y'all both bet on the Fever, right? Yeah,
I took
and
the
that's
Fever.
why. Yeah, y'all both bet the Fever. That's why it took the 100-point hit. Yes,
it was the right move, but
I know. That's why we do it with fake money, not real.
Thankful.
All right, game of the week, and this will really be series of the week. So this is going to be the Guardians at the Royals. It's a 4-game set.
Ooh.
So last I checked, Guardians playing very well. They're first in the AL Central. Royals were second in the AL Central. I can't remember if they still got that or not. They're close on it. 4-game series, so it's $100 bet no matter what. You can either pick the Guardians or you can pick the Royals, or if you think it's going to be a 2-2 split, you can pick that. Shane?
I'm going to go with the Guardians. I mentioned Steve Kwan in my 6T last week. Still powering the offense. The Guardians have woken the offense this year. For the last couple of years, I don't know if it's by magic, just great coaching, but they find pitch every single year. So with the way that they continue to runs, which they're like plus 19 from what they were before, I think the Guardians are going to be able to pull this off. The Royals, I think the Royals are more unexpected in how well they've played this year. And the Guardians, I think people started to know they had pieces last year.
Fair point. Royals had a weekend sweep, but they got swept by the Rangers last weekend. So not a great week for them coming off. Yusef, which direction you going?
Yeah, this is a tough one because head to head, they play each other really tough, at least this season, anyways. But the Royals are in third now. They're won 3 of the last 10 games, so they dropped down to third in the division. I'm going with the Guardians here. I'm going with them to win 3 games out of the 4. The Guardians are scrappy. They're not bringing power to the table, but they will stretch you out, make you uncomfortable. Base running, which is what Yankees can learn from. They're excellent with base running, force you into mistakes, waiting for the right pitches. They don't chase bad pitches on that team. That's really good. Are they really efficient? They don't have a punch you out kind of offense, but they kind of like have a death by 1,000 cuts kind of playing style. I think they're going to outlast KC by a slight margin because, like I said, they played each other tough head to head this year. I'm going 3-1. That's going to be a big. I should have said 2-2, but I'm going to go 3-1 that they win the series outright. Yeah, there's that's pretty much it. I mean, that's what's going to happen. I think so.
Fair enough. I'll take the Royals since they're at home. They're not a bad team. They're just struggling, but I'll drop 100 on the Royals since they're at home. I might should take the 2-2 split, but I'm just going to go and pick the Royals straight up, see if they can catch 3 of the 4 since they're playing at home. All right, time for our final 60 here. By the way, for those of you watching our audience, Corey is out tonight taking his kids to the circus, and Austin is still out somewhere on this planet honeymooning. So he was kind enough to drop in on us last week. We hope to have both of them back some point during the summer. Shane, your final 60.
My final 60 goes to the Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup champions. You know, I had them from the very beginning on this. They definitely made it dangerous, letting the Oilers back in it. But the thing that always impresses me is as the Stanley Cup finals finish, you then get to hear the actual injury report for what these players have gone. Terrible injury reporting. It's an upper body injury, and a guy could have a dislocated shoulder. It's a lower body injury, and the guy has a broken leg. They play that way, and that's how it's just listed in the injury report. And you'll see there's going to be a ton of guys that come out that have injuries that make you wonder how they walked to the rink, let alone played the games. Just an all around tough final game for them. Congrats to the Florida Panthers again, especially Matthew Tkachuk, one of my all-time favorites in the league right now.
Listen, hockey in general, man, how these guys, and I know they do it from the time they're 3 years old, right? But how they skate and move a puck and put up with some big guy beating the crap out of them, I don't know. And then you just add the level of injuries that you just discussed. But hats off to the Florida Panthers. Losing 3 in a row to a good team and maybe the best player on the planet right now, and you still win Game 7, you got it done. Hats off to the Florida Panthers. Yusef, your final 60.
All right, that's too painful for me to talk about. That's why it's not my 60. But all of my friends that are in Detroit sports are basically jumping off cliffs right now. I don't know what's going on. All my friends are the Tigers fans are dangling off cliffs around the country. Michigan State's are wearing paper bags over their heads. Longtime Lion fans, and even after last year, they're still waiting for the other shoe to drop. They say championship, but deep down, they know if it's not gambling or defensive lap in the playoff, something else is going to happen. So they're totally negative. And now you got the Pistons, who have a coach they brought in who had a 194 to 115 record in Phoenix. His son to the finals, almost beat the Bucks, lost 4 games out of 2, and got coach of the year. Brought him to the Pistons. Gave him a 5 or 6 year deal, I think it was. Well, I don't know how much money it was. And they had the youngest team. League had the worst record in the league. There was really no chance they would have learned anything in 1 year. They had to, evolve into that. They were brand new, very young, the youngest team, and didn't have a lot of experience. You bring a guy who has it, who's been accustomed to winning, and then you fire him because you don't win. Detroit, do you guys want to succeed? I'm trying to wonder if Detroit sports wants to be successful, or they're happy complaining, have something to complain about, or be angry all the time and depressed all the time. I mean, this is a chance for you to, what kind of message to send to the young kids that, we only won 14 games, so it's so negative. So I don't know the Detroit fans out here, but I feel sorry for y'all. Y'all sound really, really sad. And it's like this was a chance for you guys to turn the page and give somebody a break and trust somebody and build something. And you're starting all over again. Pretty sad.
It is. I'm a huge fan of building things. Listen, other than maybe Urban Meyer in Jacksonville, right? If you're going to hire a guy to do a job, give him some time. At least 3 seasons. Give him some time to build something. And for Detroit to send Monty Williams packing, I don't get it. Without roster,
5 years and $65 million left. I mean,
we're going to pay you not be here.
He's not going to go broke, but my God.
Monty's okay. It's the Pistons that are hurting.
Exactly. Yeah, Monty's going to be drinking cold beer going, I told you he was going to miss that shot. He didn't rebound when I coached either.
And the Pistons weren't okay before he got there either. This is a long string of not being okay. You got to trust somebody and start building somewhere. You got enough bricks, dude. Build something. They're starting all over again, tearing the whole thing down. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Yeah. All right. So, Yusef, I know you're putting out a bunch of content, man. So tell everybody where they can find you.
All right. If you are a audio and video listener, our YouTube channel at They Call Me Mr. U is we can find everything from our most recent season, season 4. About a year's worth of content. Audio-wise, our first 3 seasons are all on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Apple Podcasts. We get all full audio. And we're all over the socials at They Call Me Mr. U, everywhere. TikTok, everything but Snapchat. I ain't got time for that. But everything else is, we're out here with sports content, family and life stuff, some culture, some teachings, a little bit of everything out there they've got going on. So we're pretty excited. And wrestling. We're excited about everything that's going on.
All right. Everybody, thank you so much for being with us. We'll hope to have Austin back at some point, Connor back at some point, Corey back at some point. Thank you to Shane and yourself, as always, for a great show. We enjoyed it.
Sure.
Have a great one. See y'all next time.